This video is going more in depth about placing and labeling figures and tables. This is vital to ensure readability and clarity of the results you're presenting. Tables and figures are often one of the first things a reader looks at in your thesis or article, and it's important that they are easily interpretable. When placing your figures and tables, try to ensure that they are placed close to where you first refer to them in the text. At the same time, they should not break up your paragraph structure or the flow of your text. Avoid writing just a sentence or two and then placing a table and figure. This will make your text more difficult to read. All your figures and tables must be referred to in the text. The first table and figure you mention in your text should be labeled table or figure 1, and so on. Usually they are referred to in the beginning of a sentence or in a parenthesis at the end. Remember to change the numbering of your tables and graphs if you move them somewhere else in the text and change the order. Do not only direct your reader to the table and figure by stating that all the information can be found there. For example, Table 1 shows the genetic variation in the child population in the river and lake. Rather try to draw some information out of the data and describe an interesting data point, relationship, or trend, which the figure or table displays. For example, lake trout had a larger genetic variability than trout in the river. Table 1. Your text now draws out the interesting information from the table and helps the reader to interpret it. This ensures that your text and table supplement each other. If there's no interesting information to draw out of the table or figure, maybe you should consider moving it to the appendix. There is a general rule on where to place the legends of tables and figures. For tables, you always place it above, while for figure, you should always place it below. This is a general rule for academic writing that you should also apply in your thesis. The labeling of your graphs and figures should be rather extensive and include all the necessary information so your reader can understand your table or figure without reading the entire text of your thesis. Especially in research articles, readers tend to just browse through an article by looking only at the tables and figures and reading the labels. The table or figure label may therefore end up as a small paragraph with information. This example originates from a master thesis previously discussed in this course. The figures show brown bear selection for high-density bilberry areas and against areas with high risk of hunting mortality. What the figure illustrates should be clearly explained in the figure label. In addition, you should include information such as which species you're discussing, when was the data you are presenting collected, where was it collected, and other information such as the scale of the data and the confidence intervals. Take the time to think about your reader when you label your tables and graphs. They may not find it as easy as you to understand and interpret your results, so make sure you supply sufficient information in your labels.